Hello friends! Have you noticed the whole adult coloring book craze? It seems to be everywhere and it encourages us grown-ups to get creative with color. There's a calming and meditative effect, and I'm all about a fun activity that helps in stress relief and encouraging mindfulness. I thought it'd be fun to demonstrate some different tools, whether it be markers or pens or watercolors, that I've found to be great to get my coloring on. I wrote out this phrase and have made it into a free download if you're interested in checking the link in the description box below. This is a Tim Holtz water brush, and I love it for so many reasons. I love it for traveling. The water fits into the barrel right here, and to fill it, you simply unscrew this part and squeeze it under running water. So that's really easy enough to do. And then this is actually the detail or tip. I love how pointed and fine the brush is. I'm taking this set of watercolors by Artist Loft. It's from Michaels. It's my favorite set of watercolors to use because there's so many different colors and also because it's fairly inexpensive. So I'm just squeezing some water into the pan and then, oops, I've colored outside the lines, but I'm okay with that. I'm going to try to do a rainbow color effect throughout the letters and maybe just change up the colors in each letter or the shade of the colors and the strength of each one for the different letters. The process is really kind of calming and therapeutic, and I was actually tempted to stop right there because I had colored outside the lines and it was bothering me, but I decided to keep going because I didn't want to have to print off another copy and stop what I was doing. So I'm just going to try and get a good balance of coverage so that each letter has, a good amount of paint in it, whether it's orange or lighter orange or yellow orange, just mixing the colors if I need to, but really kind of going with the flow. That's what this whole process is about. I think there's so many people really enjoying coloring books right now, and it's such a craze because we as adults don't spend enough time sitting down and doing an activity unless it's directly related to work or our families. And this is just a great way for you to spend some time, and you can see how it's not perfect at all. I am not staying within the lines, and it's okay. So I'm just going to speed this up a little bit, but also emphasize just how freeing this whole process was. And I printed this on American Crafts cardstock because I like the texture of it. You can definitely print it on any kind of paper that you want. Just be aware that the thinner the paper, the water will react differently to it. So if you want to print this on cardstock or watercolor paper, that might be a little bit better and get you the results that you're wanting as opposed to just regular printer paper for these watercolors. So here are the results. I'm very pleased with it. It looks so fun and colorful. I don't even mind the mess and getting out of the lines because it makes it more playful, and I know that I did it by hand. So it didn't take me very long to do this. Obviously I sped up the video, but I think that this was really, really fun to do, and I'm going to now explore some different options that are more typical, like pens and markers. So here we go. We've got these awesome friction erasable pens, and they come in a variety of different colors. I just love how the gel flows through, and they are erasable. So you can take that little rubber end on the top of each cap, and once it's dry, I would wait like 5 to 10 seconds, then you can erase it. So this is good for people who are a little bit more perfectionists and who want to go through coloring things in a thin, small space. These pens are great for that. So as you can see, I'm just kind of going through, once again, doing a rainbow effect. There's tremendous value in setting aside time and using our hands to get creative. Even if it's just 10 to 15 minutes a day, anyone can carve out that amount of time for an activity that they enjoy and feels therapeutic. Not sure about you, but I have incredibly fond memories of coloring as a child. I'm sure that's why these adult coloring books are such a big trend right now. Okay, so now I'm switching to these Stabilo markers. I love using these. I actually did a coloring sheet for Origins. They had a promotion for their Chinese New Year or Lunar New Year, and I use these markers, and I get asked about them a lot because they are so colorful and bright and vibrant, and the point is pretty thin, but with coloring books and the larger spaces, I wouldn't necessarily color a whole background with these, but the nice thing about them is that you can layer on the color and it flows really nicely. So I think that this is one of my favorite sets to use because of all the color options. Now, art is such an important part of health and wellness, but we don't necessarily make the time to paint or draw. Coloring brings a sense of almost instant gratification, especially if you choose to use a simple coloring page like this. So I decided to switch it up again and take out these Tim Holtz distress markers. Not sure if you can see this. Okay, so this one is Tumbled Glass. There are two ends. There's a brush tip and a fine tip. So I'm going to try the fine tip for now and go ahead and fill it in. It's definitely fine like the previous marker I used. This one is Salty Ocean. But I'm going to just kind of fill it in with smaller strokes. This time I'm using the brush tip. I have found that this is the perfect marker to use because of both options. So you have the brush tip and you also have the fine tip, but really the brush tip makes it so nice because the coverage feels really perfect. It's not as bulky as the markers that you probably used when you were a kid. It's just the perfect amount of coverage and ink flow, and this one feels probably the best out of all the ones that I just tried out, although I still personally really like using all of them for coloring. It just depends on what I'm working on. So I encourage you to just test out different markers, different sizes, and find ones that you're most comfortable with. Another great thing about these distress markers is that they come in so many colors. You could never really run out of them, and they also give you the option of the brush and the fine point. Here's the finished piece. Mixing in various pens and markers was a great way to not only show you that there are so many options out there, but also for you to see that they can easily all work together. Do you have a favorite set of pens or markers you like to use? I'd love to hear about it in the comments below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. I'm planning on using various colored pencils in an upcoming video, so please subscribe if you haven't yet. Also, I'd love to hear your thoughts on more types of videos you'd like to see. Coloring these pages was so therapeutic and enjoyable for me, and I hope you liked it too. Remember, all links are below. Thank you so much for watching, and keep those creative juices flowing.